and it's usually triggered by a YouTube video with like a war veteran talking about like the shit that
but I served in the company.
I thought, yeah, some shit like that. He'll be like, I thought we was all dead, and then Mikey stood up. He was still alive, and he had the Bren gun, and them Germans never seen him come. And I'm sitting there like, get him, Mikey. I'm like tearing up, feeling sad. Like that's the Gaston clip from Band of Brothers when that one guy is like talking about how cold Baston was. Sometimes it'd be a cold night. And my wife would say, oh, it's cold. She'll come to bed. And I say, at least it ain't like Baston, though. Baston was cold. And it's like, that doesn't really get me. But the grandpa I served with a company of heroes thing, even when Taylor says it, I'm like,
yes, Taylor does it too well. You need to stop.
It's so
Grandpa,
funny.
Were you a hero in the war?
And it was very heroic. And man, I cry on almost every single one of those stories, especially the ones on YouTube, because these old men who fought in Korea will be there, and it's just like that Band of Brothers thing when he's like, "Do it, Taylor." The whole thing.
My grandson asked me, "Grandpa, were you a hero in the war?" Grandpa said no. But I served in a company of heroes. And then it plays the sad music, and he's just this old man, and he had all these remarkable achievements, and he's so humbled by the sacrifice of his men.
Just you saying that brought back those memories, and I teared up. If you'd done it another time back to back, I'd have cried.
Grandpa says
no. But I served in a company of heroes.
The one that
yes.
Every time I watch Medal of Honor stories, I like half of those will make me cry because the stuff the guys do is always so ridiculous. Like I remember the one Vietnam one where they have to hold it out against some overwhelming force, and he had like an artillery piece that he was firing point blank with beehive rounds, and like they kept shooting him off his gun, his artillery piece, but he kept getting back. He's like, and I just thought, Lord, let me fire one more at him, and I'd get back up, load the big boy, and give him them beehives, and they'd scatter. He'd kill a dozen of them a shot. They'd shoot me again, and I'd say, Lord, let me shoot one more. He just kept letting me shoot till I was all out. And then I looked across the way, and they wasn't no more Vietnamese. But I heard a boy crying. He was on the other side of the river. My legs was so shut up I couldn't swim no more, but there was a raft. And I got on that rubber raft, and I started paddling with my arms because they'd still work. It's shit like that. Like he got to the other side.
Like, then I realized that whatever God the Vietnamese pray to is fake as hell. Jesus Christ guided my bullets right into the brains of those humans.
He's like shooting around.
Said, Lord, help me to put down this rice farmer who's upset with our invasion. And he ghoulishly put his children behind his back. And he begged me in his goofy speak.
I said, Lord, guide me to the village that these men came from here today. Let me find their families and fall upon them with your righteous
And the Lord
love.
brought down his cleansing fire.
No, I love that shit.
I cry for less, man. I'll cry for fucking cartoons winning a battle.
I definitely, I don't think I cried at Avengers Endgame when, Captain America gets the hammer and everything and goes ham on Thanos, but I could have.
I did. Oh, shit,
I definitely could have cried.
I've seen it 100 times.
Dude, yeah, it's a great fucking scene. We talk about it all the time, but it really is. Like anything like that will get me.
Real good. Oh, Green Mile.
Green Mile. Yeah,
Green Mile makes me very, very sad.
There's very little
so
victory in
so
Green Mile. I won't cry at that.
I don't want to watch it because I know I'm going to be so mad at Percy and how he treats.
That guy's a great actor.
He is a great actor. He made me hate him as much as I hated Joffrey ever. Probably more. Actually, not even close. I hate Percy more than I hate Joffrey. Like Percy is so despicable in that movie. Man, what a great film. Oh, have you not seen Green Mile?
It's been a while.
It's so
It's another
emotional.
Stephen King adaptation.
What? I know we were talking about what was the pilot TV show?
Masters of the Air.
Master of the Air. One problem I have, I lean on Jackie so heavy for this. They are all the same age. They are all white, and they are all men. They look identical to me.
It's World War II.
Every fucking one of them is an identical actor. You could swap them around. I'd have no idea. It is rough.
I saw a black guy on the poster, so I'm sure he's coming at some point. He's probably going to be one of those Tuskegee airmen.
Not in the first 4, but I saw it too.
Yeah, I was surprised that they didn't find a way to like, he's as white as any of us, and like, sneak him in anyway. Like the sergeant be like, looks white to me, and like rubber stamp, like let him in, like the only Negro who served in the Western forces. Whitey Chalk.
Whitey Chalky.
I met a World War II pilot. This guy was pretty cool. I think he took me for a flight in his like World War II era plane. It had like 18 cylinders, like this radial engine going everywhere. It was a bi-wing. It was a cool thing. Anyway, he had strong feelings on the Tuskegee Airmen. He's like, he called them a word I won't say.
Oh shit.
So, yeah. And he's like, those brothers, they didn't do shit. That movie's totally fake. They were the worst pilots. They didn't earn their way into the sky in the same way.
Didn't we test like syphilis on them or something? I feel like the government like infected the Tuskegee Airmen with like diseases and did like bioweapon testing on them to see what would happen or something.
CGI is really good at everything but human faces.
I don't know about that, man. I watched that show, Masters of the Sky.
Please. How deep are you?
I watched the first episode last night.
Okay.
After we got off the show, I watched.
They're all the same. You've seen it.
I don't think that CGI is very good, and I expected more out of Apple TV, Tom Hanks, and Steven Spielberg.
Yep.
And it's supposed to be cut from the same cloth as Band of Brothers, which I get, from decades ago at this point. But still, I think I expect a lot. I don't know. Those B-17s look a little not real, and something about that main guy. I think he played Elvis in that biopic.
There's
like he's
guys, Buck or Bucky,
the really good looking one,
blondish.
Yeah, he's got like Elvis hair and a woman's mouth.
Dude, that guy. No, the guy.
And he can't grow facial hair. Like he's a femboy.
I'm 4 episodes in. Now there's only 5 released so far, so I'm almost current. And that show fucking sucks. There is no character development in that show. I am now 4 hours into this thing. I don't give a flying fuck about a single person in that show. And this is a mild spoiler, but I don't think it'll ruin it. There is a person in the show who disappears off camera. I'm like, I don't fucking believe you. I don't believe you one bit. These people have plot armor thick as fuck in this show. That every time a plane lands, it has like no landing gear. It's all shot.
Oh, they love show.
They're missing half of their plane. They landed with like partial wings. None of this shit is like. It is so action packed. Oh, by the way, most of the missions, like 2/3 of the bombers die, and I'm like, that can't be how it really was. That can't be that these guys had a 1/3 survival rate and they had to get to 25 missions. What is 1/3 times 25? It's a really small number. No one must have ever survived that war.
Yeah, that's
it is
how it's fuck.
Horde shit. Yeah, thanks, Taylor. I'm like Yellowstoning it now, and then I'm like kind of compelled and interested and wrapped up at hating this show. It is.
Damn.
It is.
So for those who don't know what we're talking about, it's called Masters of the Air. Like I said, it's on Apple TV. It's Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg produced thing. It's supposed to be Band of Brothers, the continuation of that, like the Band of Brothers trilogy, if you will. That the Pacific being the second one. This is supposed to be the air war in Europe, and it's American flyboys heading over to the good old England, bomb Hitler. And I thought that sounded fun, but man, seemed a little gay, and I thought it was weird. You know what I didn't like? And I'll tell you this: like I'm not religious, but there was a part where they're about to go bomb the Nazis and fly through an ocean of flak, and the chaplain comes and he's like, "I'm Father Michaels. I'll be down the hall if any of you need me." And the guy goes, "We'll let you know if we need you, Padre." It's 1940 something. Like it's 43. Everybody in that room is coming to suck the Padre's dick and ask them to call in a favor with God. None of these guys are agnostic. None of these guys are too cool for God. These guys think God is cool as it gets.
These guys are Christian as can be.
He's from Casper, Wyoming. This is a white man from Casper, Wyoming, who was born in 1920. If he is not Christian, then they would have beaten it into him by now. I promise you. So that scene to me, and again, like it's I don't like inaccuracies. I don't. But he's dead. They should all be religious. None of them saw the Padre. I remember in Band of Brothers when they're about to drop into fucking occupied France, we're all taking a knee and throwing one up to the big guy. And one of my favorite war movies ever, right? With that Andrew Garfield guy. He was the
Ridge, something close to that.
Hacksaw Ridge. He was the
he
was the what is it when you're
a conscientious objector?
Conscientious objector. He's a conscientious objector because he's his religious beliefs. And he like went into battle as a fucking combat medic, but he didn't bring a gun. And I cry if I tell the story because there's a part like he saved so many people the first day that the commander's like, why aren't you boys up on that ridge fighting? The men won't go up till Private Garfield says a prayer for him, sir. Like no, like they're all waiting on him to get there and like say a prayer over him because the shit he did the day before was so miraculous. They think he's got like the touch of God on him or something.
Oh,
it's beautiful. And it's like, yeah, they're out there fighting for their lives. Probably all very religious, I would expect.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine
that annoyed me?
Like
in that show,
for ripping in the chaplain from your fellow soldiers, it'd be you take it easy, Padre. The rest of your like fellow pilots are going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? He's a man of God. You don't want him praying for us? This guy doesn't want him praying for us as we're up there fighting the Krauts.
By the way, the very next scene, this guy's way too comfortable friend. Buck and Bucky are their names. These two gay friends, clearly. Fucking like one of them's like, here's my lucky deuce. Take my lucky deuce up with you. It's a $2 bill. Take my lucky deuce up with you. I flew 2 missions with it. I bit a corner off before each one. I made it back.
Someday this will be red.
And it's clear, like that, and it's clear the guy's taking it to make his boyfriend feel good. And he's like, yeah, I'll take you $2 bill. Yeah, I'll tuck it in here. He'll do that. But meanwhile, it's we'll let you know, Padre. Nothing for the Padre. But like our boyfriend's $2 bill. Yeah, I'll bite a corner off of it. I'll taste your Oh, it tastes like you, Buck, or you, Bucky. Which is which? Fucking lame as shit.
That happens again, actually. Another guy, this isn't a spoiler. Someone hands a snow globe to his peer because it's his good luck charm. I was like, I guess this is common.
Gays weren't around until the 70s.
Then all of a sudden we're in France, right? We get into France and the flak is coming up like the Empire is shooting at us. There's no way flak looked like that. Every flak cannon has the altimeter fuse dialed in exactly the same.
Yeah.
All they got to do is pull up a few hundred feet, boys, or down, or down. It's all blowing up right here at 2,300 feet where we are, or whatever the fuck. Like at our altitude is where the flak is set. So it's like up or down, like it would solve the whole problem. It's nonsense. It's just for visuals. It's silly. And then they show the Nazis for the first time. And they got those uniforms. They got those helmets.
Loves their uniforms.
They're fucking, let me tell you, they're all fucking lockstep. They're getting shit done. Everybody looks clean. Everybody looks well dressed. I don't know. Every time I see them, Taylor, I remember
think of how good our military would look if after the war we were like, we're taking all the Nazi scientists and we're taking all the Hugo Boss guys and you're dapping us up same way. We show up in Korea just with drip. Like we look fantastic. Like, God, this is the World War II American Army. They've got like collars. They got pads in their shoulders. Like they're looking great. I think we should do that. We need to have better looking army attire. I would put our military in shoulder pads like Kanye was wearing to make us look bigger and more powerful. Like that would be part of every uniform, like the huge football pads underneath the uniform. Yeah.
You know what? Hear me out. Ron DeSantis chooses the combat boots, right?
Oh, shit.
Lifts for every soldier we have is suddenly 5 inches tall.
Up and over, soldiers.
You would hate that because that's mutually assured destruction because now he's 5 inches taller, but the 6'2" guy is also. Wait, they gave the pilots syphilis? That doesn't seem.
I'm not sure if they gave the pilots syphilis. I think they gave black military men there. Yeah, in Alabama, I think, right?
Maybe it wasn't related to the pilots. Same name, different thing. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good thing they didn't do it to the pilots because you wouldn't want them up there all itchy and burny.
Taylor, I'm having
Already
like a
can't fly.
ocular migraine. Can you read this to our crowd?
Of course. The Tuskegee experiment began in 1932 at a time when there was no known cure for syphilis, a contagious venereal disease. After being recruited by the promise of free medical care, 600 African-American men in Macon County, Alabama, were enrolled in the project, which aims to study the full progression of the disease.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
They didn't have a cure.
So this
they
is
didn't have a vaccine. They just wanted to watch syphilis do its thing.
Okay, but this is just the name of the experiment. This is not related to the pilots.
No, it's
Right.
not.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
no. Same name, different thing.
I'm trying to find news about
I thought they had done it to the pilots.
what are the false claims
Or
of
I see
something
the
why
like
you
that.
conflate the Tuskegee
Yeah.
experiment with the Tuskegee Airmen.
I thought that's why they were so bad at flying planes. They were
because
syphilis.
their palms hurt from the.
it says
Syphilis was awful.
Yes, awful. I use it as my preventative healthcare spiel. Like, syphilis is awful. It's terrible. It kills you, makes you crazy, hurts. Just do a terrible. Super easy to fix. 50 cents.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about that. I was like a $80 shot in my ass that I got.
Well, maybe it's out of date, but yeah, it's like penicillin. Like those Cillins are super cheap now.
some guy wrote a whole book, False
use aquarium
Claims
cleaner.
about the Tuskegee Airmen by Daniel L. Hallman.
Say it
Says-
again.
I looked up I was curious about when you said your friend was like not a fan of the Tuskegee Airmen, which is such a hilariously niche thing to not be a fan of. But yeah, there's a book here, False Claims about the Tuskegee Airmen, Daniel L. Hallman. I'm just reading his list here. I will address 7 false claims about the Tuskegee Airmen. The false claim that the Tuskegee Airmen never lost a bomber. The claim that the Tuskegee Airman was an ace with 5 aerial victory credits, but one of his aerial victories was reduced or taken away. The false claim that Tuskegee Airmen were the first American pilots to shoot down German jets. The false claim that Tuskegee Airmen sank a German destroyer by strafing alone. The false claim that Tuskegee Airmen were inferior to white pilots in combat. The false claim that the 332nd Fighter Group significantly outperformed the other fighter groups. The false claim that a Tuskegee Airman flew more combat missions than any other Air Force pilot, or more combat missions as a fighter pilot in 3 wars than any other Air Force pilot. Man, I stopped caring in the middle of that. About
I did see one of them was positive, like the false claim that they were inferior.
Yeah.
And there was like a false claim that they were significantly better. Apparently, they were just like everyone else.
My guess would be that this guy's like, hey, they're trying to mythologize, I guess the word would be. Like, like this group as if they were like the best of the best. And then there are other people who are like they were the worst of the worst. And
can you imagine how scary
the truth
it would be?
is that, like, oh, yeah, of course nobody can kill a battle, ship with strafing alone. Or I guess maybe that's a common
Can you
thing.
imagine? Can you imagine you're a Tuskegee Airman? You're flying out over the Pacific. How terrifying that must be.
Terrifying. Yeah. What if your plane goes down?
Then you just drown.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't following for a while.
You just sink beneath the waves because what the fuck else could you do?
Oh, I picked up when you were dropping down. It didn't even hit the ground. I caught it.
Oh, no.
You know how long it took us to teach him to fly an airplane? We didn't have time to teach him to swim as well.
That's like the kind of character they would put representing like a white major in a Hollywood movie now, where they would be some mustache twirling, evil, despicable,
smoking thin cigarettes,
scoundrel, some scoundrel. Yeah. Man, scoundrel, such a good word. Let's bring that.
You think we're gonna go out there and find them? A black man in the blue ocean, please, Nigel.
I ought to guffaw at you. Now I will begin guffawing. Yeah, and I don't know. Well, I bet they were fine pilots. Seems like the guy who wrote a whole book
thus far. I am going to watch like second and maybe continue third, fourth episodes. I'll see what more there is. It's debuting, I think, as we speak. Fridays, I think new episodes come out. Is what I should say.
There's 5 out currently. There'll be 6 out as most of you hear this.
But I was awfully underwhelmed by the first episode. I had high hopes, and then like I don't know. I kind of heard people and other shit that I watched talking about live streams and streamers and stuff were talking about it, but they liked it, but I didn't like it very much.
I think I will not watch it then because neither of you seem that enthused.
Kyle said he really values like it being honest and realistic, and it will just fail you in that regard. every.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm literally not sure. I would suspect that it's based on historical stuff, like the previous two entries were, like directly taken from events. Like when those guys got lost and actually went to France, like surely that happened. Like that would be a weird thing to just make up and put in there. I will say this:
Greenland, so that's a pretty wild thing to miss. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a map or maybe. The one guy got his face blown off though. Like dude looks over at his co-pilot, and his co-pilot's face has exploded from either shrapnel or maybe fighter strafing, because there's like fighters shooting at him, and that was gruesome. That was pretty fucking gruesome. It was CGI, but it looked awfully real. It did that thing where like the nose was blown off, so it looked like a skeleton nose, and like all of his lips were gone, as like his mouth was shot out. It was real rough. I liked that.
The thing about aviation warfare is the way it impacts the people is a little different. They never see who they bomb, and they never see their friends die, right? If you're in trenches, then you're constantly seeing the most gruesome stuff. You are seeing people take their final breaths, and it's impactful on your own like mood. In air warfare, that doesn't happen. They just sort of disappear. Like, oh, Taylor's
Back then, especially
gone. Taylor just like he just landed too hard in a potato field somewhere, and that's it. I guess that's it. I just have to carry on, and he just disappeared while I wasn't looking. In this show, everything is so like visible. They're constantly losing one or two people out of the plane. They're constantly like they really see all the damage that gets done, and I'm like, that just doesn't seem real. That's not how it happens.
I don't know. I just remember, it's that famous picture, I think, is a B-17 that's shot full of holes, and they were figuring out where they needed to add armor. And they were like, we should armor the parts with holes in it. It's like, no. Those are the parts where a plane can be shot and return. It's the other places that need the armor.
You're right. And they were stupid, but I could see myself being that level of stupid. Like let's look and see where all the holes are. It's not a stupid idea, right?
Yeah, I mean they're made out of some thin ass shit. It's all just so it has to be light or whatever. But yeah, I would guess that a lot of it's historically based. I would hope so, certainly, because that I don't care about that the friendships at all. And that Buck and Bucky guy are just way too lame and gay for me. They're annoying the shit out of me.
They are
shit.
The show's
the
about
stars
them.
of the show are two gay guys.
They are Captain Winners and the drunk friend,
but gay.
They're way too close. Yeah, they're way too close.
Gay, but,
okay.
He gives him a bicycle first day. It's just like, oh, you're gonna need this here. Everybody wants one. They can't get them. I got you one right here. Like, people have been begging me for this bicycle. Been holding it for you, but like named him after himself.
This is all true.
He's like, you look like this. He's like, my name's Bucky, and you're Buck. Why am I Buck? You look like a guy I know named Buck. And so like now it's Bucky and Buck. It's like they're telling this to their girlfriends, and their girlfriends are like,
This is me and my friend.
By the way, his real name, it's Roscoe. No, John. No. That's right, Gale.
Gale, that's what it is. Yeah,
it's not one of those manly cool names. It's a Gale. So yeah, you got like you got two gay dudes flying across Europe. It sounds like a modern reality show. Honestly,
he's not gay.
He does
gay. Bone a chick later.
Okay, well, there's nothing gay about that.
We call that a beard in Europe.
Well, and here too.
Yeah, but they're in Europe.
Maybe I'm misinterpreting the motivations of 1940s women, but like these guys are here temporarily, right? And they very well may die in the next 2 months. And then they have dances, and they're just trying to bone the girls who go to the dances. I'm like, was there hookup culture in 1943 for women to just show up dances and fuck passing pilots and navigators and whatever?
I bet the kind of women who went to that were like looked down upon in their community.
No,
like if you're like if you're like a French woman or something, and you're like boning some American or some German woman, like they'd probably be like, "Oh, what the fuck? You're being Oh, what is up
I don't
with
think
this?
so.
We are not good enough.
I just
think
have this
so.
idea that 1942 women didn't want relationships with no future.
Oh, they wanted that. Well, I mean, as soon as they were going to have a future. They're banking on this guy, right? But I'm sure there's always been hookup culture, right? Like that's how we got
not
the
like it
made
is
up story
now.
about. That's how we got that made up story about Jesus.
Whoa.
Like Mary clearly hooked up with.
Watch it.
Mary was